that lasted for like 40 minutes. So all those things were happening. And then I was alone again, like completely alone. And that's when I feel that I lost myself, because I couldn't, I had to go on unemployment because our theater was just going to close for a couple of months and then we were going to open again with a new show. So I was like, well, I guess I'll go on unemployment for a couple of months and then I'll go back to work and whatever, because it's kind of dumb to start a new job just for like a month and a half or two, so I wasn't going to do that. And it just took a toll on me. It really did. That was the first time that I had to be alone with my thoughts in silence. And that's when all the demons started creeping out, because that's when I discovered, I was like, oh my gosh, I have abandonment issues. Like from my childhood, I have trust issues, like deeply rooted trust issues. And it was just very difficult because I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. I just got like all these feelings and all these things bottled up and I didn't know, and I lost myself, and I haven't been myself until recently. Like, I haven't found myself again. I started doubting myself when that happened, all that together. I was eating like crap because I was on unemployment. I couldn't afford food. I was getting like, it was like something stupid. Like, I don't think it was even like $300 because they would take out for taxes. It was like less than $300 a week. And I had to pay rent, like New York City rent, Plus, I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't pay for transportation. So I would literally just go and buy, like, I remember I went to the supermarket, I bought like a pack of rice, black beans, and then just to try to be something healthy, I would try to find like the $1.99 bags of salad. And that's what I ate for weeks, because that's the only thing I could afford, that and ramen, pretty much. And that's all I ate. And then when I started getting really bad anxiety and I had like $2 or $3 left, I would go to La Bodega, the corner store, and I would see what do they have that's really cheap. And it's like in the Heights, so it's cheaper there than in other places in Manhattan. So I would go to La Bodega and I would see like they had like ice creams that were like 25 cents and like candy that was like really cheap, like 25 cents, like 50 cents or whatever. So I would buy all this crap of junk food and I would just like scoff it down. And that's how I started developing an eating disorder, a binge eating disorder. And I would just binge on that crappy junk that was super cheap because I needed to fill a void that I didn't know I had, that I didn't understand. So it got really bad. That's when I started gaining a lot of weight that I had lost, that I had worked really hard to lose. And then I started gaining all that weight back. And then I just didn't understand how to stop it, and then I would go between stages of binge eating with anorexia and, not like, so yes, with anorexia, I would binge and then I would exercise heavily the next day, or I would restrict my eating, which is not, that's stupid, because then after that, you put your body into overload and into exercising and just like restricting, and then it just triggers the binge eating again, because you're not working with the actual issue. The actual issue is not the food, it's the emotions, it's the things that you're not working through. So it was just really hard, and like people don't understand it. Unless you go through this, you will not understand it. Like this is something else. And it got so horrible. And then I remember after that, I started working again. When we started working at Downton Abbey, Lord, it got a little better because then I was able to get out of the house and I had money again. And then at that time I went overboard because I have some sort of thing inside of me that I'm an extremist. So I am like, doing nothing or doing everything. And I've had to learn how to not do that anymore and just not be like a yes or no or black and white or all or nothing kind of person. And it's really, really tough when that has been your whole life, your whole upbringing, that it's just a flight or fight mode and that whole thing. It's just really hard to get out of it. So I went into overload, and then I had 3 jobs at the same time. Like I barely slept, and it was stupid because then I was working, for example, Downton Abbey, plus H&R Block as a receptionist. Downton Abbey was retail, right? And then freaking retail, I hate it. So there was retail, and then after that, it was like working as a receptionist for H&R Block, and then and also when Mean Girls opened, I was working as an usher again, as a greeter. So I was all the time out of the house, which was also great because I didn't have to be in that horrible place where I used to live. But at the same time, it was like really bad. I was trying to save money to move out. I was so desperate to move that I didn't notice that I got scammed. Like somebody stole a lot of money from me because I just sent them money like without looking at the apartment first, because I was so desperate. I was so desperate to get out of where I was. And through all this, I was still binge eating, trying to like balance it out, but still doing it, feeling like crap, battling within me, like all the emotions and all the things I was having. I had this intense anger inside of me all the time. And then I remember I went to, that happened, like I got scammed in the summer of 2018. And I couldn't handle it anymore. And I said, I'm going to leave the city for a few days, because if not, I'm going to go crazy. And it was intense because I don't know how to explain it. I literally felt physically that I was going to go insane. Like I felt physically, I am going to break now. And I have never been at that point in my life, and I never want to see that part again, because it was very scary. Those people that you see in New York, those of you that have been to New York, and you see like people who are mentally ill on the street all the time, it's like, it's a real thing. It can break you, and I felt it. I felt physically that I was going to break. I was going to crack. So I said, you know what? I'm going to leave the city for a few days. And I was like, okay, what's the next flight? And I went to Canada. I went to Montreal for 4 days, 5 days. I just left. And it was the best thing I could have done for myself. Because it was bad. It was really bad. Then I came back and I had just, I was like, okay, I can breathe again. Let's do this again. I was so grateful because I was so alone, but then, I started building a relationship with like Barbara, and then, like that kind of saved me a little bit. And then after that, Eduardo Ascataracariski, what? I don't know how to say that damn name. Oh my gosh, I can't say it. I don't know why he chose that stupid ass name. It's so long. Sorry, bro. It's too long. Ascacat what?
Ascataracariski.
No, I'm not even gonna try it. Anyway, I love you, man, but dude, that name is hard. So then I remember he told me about like these girls that they're looking for a roommate, blah blah blah, and that's where I met Ashley, and now we're amazing friends, and she's one of my best friends, and I'm so grateful for that. We lived 2 years together, her, me, and Jordan, and it was, it was crazy, because then we moved there, and the same day that I move in, that you helped me move in, remember? You helped me move all my crap in there in the morning. That same day was the day I found out that Jose Julian had passed away, my eldest brother. So it was just like, Okay, like if anybody hears this, they're like, bro, you gotta be making this stuff up, right? Like there's no way. Like this is like a novel. Um, so I was very angry. I was even angrier. I was filled with wrath. Tenía ira de verdad. I was angry all the time. I just felt like this thing inside of me that was like eating me up. Whole bunch of other stuff happened. 2019 comes around. I finally think, okay, I'm gonna start working again with acting, because before that, you're dealing with all this crap and you can barely focus on your career. You can barely do it because it's just like you just can't handle one more thing. So I would do like a little play here in the summer, a little play over there. Like I did 2 Shakespeare plays and then like improv, but that was it. I wasn't doing anything else. So 2019 comes around and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to take this class at Cheese Schreiber Studio, which was amazing. I'm so grateful I took that class. I made great friends from there, great connections with other people and my instructors. They were amazing. And that's when things started turning around. 2020 comes. I start the year good. Like, I start the year by booking the lead in a short film. We're gonna film upstate. Like, it's really cool. I was gonna be in a feature of a friend. Whole thing. The same week we're supposed to film in upstate New York. That's the same week that New York goes into lockdown. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I went crazy. I was like, what? Then on top of that, it was insane. Because remember, like, they wouldn't approve our unemployment.
Yeah.
Like, I spent 2 months without money in New York City. I almost moved to Florida. Florida. You know what has to happen to a person to be like, I'm moving to Florida? My gosh, like a liberal like me? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? A Democrat, a liberal like me, going to Florida?
No way.
So it was a lot, to say the least. I spent 5 months locked up in New York City in an apartment, terrified of dying from COVID, and not in that apartment, in Manhattan. I didn't see anything around me. There was no green, no nothing. Like, it went from winter to spring and I didn't even notice because my windows were, they faced the other building. So you don't see anything. It was just dark and gray all the time. And I didn't see the sun for about 2 months. It was a lot. That was the second time that I found myself alone with my thoughts again. Because I had already identified from 2017, that time that I was alone with my thoughts, I had identified I have deep rooted abandonment issues, right? And it was just like very crippling. Like, people think, like, they make jokes out of it, like, oh, abandonment issues or trust issues. They make jokes about it all the time. But what they don't know is that abandonment issues and trust issues, they affect every single aspect of your life. You don't trust people. You don't trust yourself. You don't think that you're worthy. You think that you have to be perfect to be accepted. And all those things play into who you're forming yourself to be. Like, I felt like I had to be a certain thing to be wanted, to be accepted, to be worthy. And that, little by little, destroyed me. After that, like, when it's 2020 and we're in lockdown and full-blown, like, pandemic, I remember that I had just done like a big grocery haul because I was like, this smells kind of funky, Like, that week I was feeling it. It kind of felt like when people, in Puerto Rico, we get a hurricane and people just take everything off the shelves. It kind of felt like that. So, of course, I went to the supermarket and I, like, stocked up on good stuff. So that was, like, enough food and stuff for, like, a month, which I'm very grateful that I had. And then they locked down. I couldn't shoot the film or whatever, and it was a really good role. I really loved the character. Couldn't do it. And then we were just locked in there.